Hello my friends, welcome to my channel Discover with Kim. I'm Kim, I'm so excited you're here with me today. Welcome to this week's book chat. Today is October 1st, which means it's time to do my September reading wrap up. Let's talk some books. So I will say that in September I really did a good job of reading like perfect fall books. Like the vibes of my September reads were perfect, if I say so myself. I'm really excited to talk about them because I read some really amazing books in September. I ended up reading 6 books this past month, so let's get right into them. The first book I read in September was Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. This is actually the sequel in a duology. It is part of the Crimson Moth duology. This is book 2. Book 1 is, in America, it is called Heartless Hunter. Across the pond, overseas, it is called Crimson Moth, I believe. But Heartless Hunter is book 1. This I did not read in September, but I did read Rebel Witch to finish out the duology, and it was a perfect end to the duology. I've seen a lot of mixed reviews online about this book, but I loved it. So let me give you a quick synopsis of book 1 so you know what's going on. In case you haven't read Heartless Hunter, it is about 2 different main characters. We have our female main character who is a witch, and we have our male main character who is a witch hunter. He's actually one of the head witch hunters in this town, this village, and they end up trying to seduce each other to get information about the other side, and romance ensues, and there's so much politics in it, and there's so many different sides and so many twists and turns, and I thought this book was really fun. If you're into witches, I thought it was a really fun spin that it was a witch and a witch hunter going against each other but falling in love and trying to fight it and trying to trick each other. It was a really interesting read. So that is what Heartless Hunter is about. So that one ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, pretty major cliffhanger and betrayal actually. So I was really excited to get into book 2, Rebel Witch. I will not tell you too much of the synopsis of this book because I don't want to give it away, but it does follow Rune and Gideon as well as some of our other favorite characters from Heartless Hunter, and they go through a lot in this book. You can see it's pretty thick, so a lot happens in this book. There's a lot of betrayal, there's a lot of forgiveness, there's a lot of kind of working with the enemy, there's romance, there's friendships, and it was really good. Like I said, I've seen mixed reviews on this book. I've seen some people say that they didn't really love it or they thought it was boring, but I thought it was the perfect follow-up to Heartless Hunter. I thought it was the best way to end the duology. I think that everything that needed to happen happened, and I think that different things happen in an interesting way. I think some of the things that the characters go through you wouldn't necessarily expect them to go through, but then considering like some of their trauma, you're like, okay, it makes sense why this character is acting differently than I expected them to. And I see some of the storylines where people maybe didn't love it, but some of the stuff that these people go through, they're going to be changed. So they're a bit changed in this book, and I loved it. I thought it was really good that she took that into account and she made it as part of the characters, but she still allowed them to be kind of true to themselves while they adapted to all the trauma they went through. So I absolutely loved Rebel Witch, and I thought it was a great follow-up to Heartless Hunter. So if you guys are looking for like a witch hunter duology fantasy romantasy to read, I highly recommend reading these 2 because they go really well together, and I think they're such a great duology. So big yes. Rebel Witch, first book I read in September. I believe I rated it. Okay, we're gonna be good this time. We're gonna pull up Fable, and I will tell you what I rated all of these books, what I actually rated them, not just my guess. Because every time I just guess, and that is not fair to you guys. So let me see. I need to. Here we go. I had to find where to find them. Okay, Rebel Witch. That's what I thought. So I rated Rebel Witch 4.25 out of 5 stars because I loved it. Anything above 4 or above for me means that like it was really good in my opinion. So 4.25 out of 5 stars. After Rebel Witch, I was really on like a fantasy kick, and I wanted to keep going with like the spooky vibes and with the whole fall vibes. So I decided to read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Sorrow by V.E. Schwab. Actually, TikTok told me to read Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, and I did. And this book, I have mixed feelings on this book. So let me give you a quick synopsis. So this book follows 3 different women, and they're all in 3 different timelines. So they're all experiencing their own life and going through their own things. But a common theme that these women have is they are all lesbians, and they all are turning into vampires. And that is the basic theme of this story. That's what everything revolves around, is women living and trying to figure out their life and who they are and being lesbians in a men's world, as well as the fact that they are turning into vampires and then they're living their life as vampires. That is not a spoiler because that is basically the huge overview of this book, but it is thick. This book is a thickie, and I have mixed feelings, okay? So I really liked the general gist of the story. I loved this, like, the general storyline. I loved the characters were pretty interesting. I thought that the vampire part was really interesting. I loved all the different lore that was in it and all the different, like, you really got to learn a lot about like vampires and through the ages and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really interesting, and I liked that we got to follow 3 different women on 3 different timelines that were living their own stories, and I knew that they were going to start weaving at some point, which I love stories that do that. So I thought that all of that was really great. But I feel like this book was so long, and I feel like it was kind of boring and it kind of dragged. I say that nicely and with love because I still enjoyed it, but it was kind of boring and it kind of dragged. Like, it took me a little bit to get into it, but then I was kind of into it, and then it really started to drag after like a couple hundred pages. It was really, really dragging, and then maybe around the 300-page mark, like something happened that you're like, okay, cool. And so it picked up a little bit, but not for very long, because almost immediately I felt like it started dragging again, and I was at the point where I was like, I know what's going to happen. Can we just tie it up already and get to the point and move on? Because I'm ready for this book to end and I'm ready to move on. Like, I didn't want to DNF it because I wanted to finish it and see where it was going, but it was long and it was a bit of a slog because I think it was just way too long. On top of that, I feel like part of this, for half of the book, I was like, why do I care about what these characters are going through? Like, what is this storyline leading me to? What's the point of it all? And I feel like that's also why for me it kind of started to drag, because I was sitting there like, what's the point of this all? Why should I even care? Like, it was interesting, the vampires were interesting, but like, why should I care about these characters and what they're going through? I wasn't sure, so that definitely was another con for me. And then finally the ending was a little bit anticlimactic. I kind of predicted what was going to happen a little bit, and I feel like after everything they went through and after how long this book was and everything that I read and dealt with and all of it and the whole storyline, and for that to be how it ended, I was a little bit disappointed. I was a little bit let down. I was expecting a bit more, expecting things to be a little bit more explosive, but they weren't, which is okay. But I am excited. This was my first V.E. Schwab book, so I wanted to give it a try. And like I said, I enjoyed her writing. I enjoyed the general gist of the story, and I enjoyed a good chunk of it. It was long, and it was a little bit pointless, kind of. So, with all that being said, I ended up reading this book. Okay, I almost freaked out for a second. I thought it said 4.25. No, I rated this book 3.25 out of 5 stars because, like I said, I thought it was enjoyable. Enjoyed the general storyline, but it did feel a bit long, a little bit predictable, and a little bit anticlimactic. Another book that I read in September is a little bit of a special one because if you guys have watched my channel, you'll know I'm doing a book club with my nephew and we are reading the Warriors graphic novels. So this is Warriors graphic novel number 1 by Aaron Hunter. It is literally a graphic novel about cats that are warriors, and it's really cute. It's really sweet. I am book clubbing it with my 8-year-old nephew, so we are reading it together because we see each other every week. So every week we read some and then we talk about it. Blah blah blah. It was super fun, super cute. We finished this book in September. I ended up rating it 4 out of 5 stars because I thought it was cute. I thought it was enjoyable. It's a kid's graphic novel. It was kind of hard for me to rate, but I was like, I liked it. I really liked the graphics in it. I loved that it was about cats. I thought the storylines were pretty interesting. There's 3 different like parts in it, and I feel like part 1 and 2 really went well together, and then part 3 was a little bit like veering off, which I found a little bit confusing. But there's more books, so I'm assuming maybe it kind of ties into those storylines. But it was really cute. It was a fun graphic novel to read. It was a quick read, and I thought it was enjoyable. Considering it was September, I was really feeling a big cozy fantasy, so I decided to read A Simple Twist of Fate by April Asher. This book, like I said, it is a cozy fantasy. It is about our female main character, Harry. She is a witch. She attended her first Fate's Festival Finding Ceremony, and the Blue Will-O-Wisp of Fate, instead of leading her to her boyfriend, led her best friend to her boyfriend, which meant they were fated for each other. This broke her heart, and it caused Harry to absolutely flee town for 13 years without looking back, without contacting anyone else except for her aunt, basically completely cutting off contact. Now, it is 13 years later, and Harry, she needs help. She is in charge of her shifter goddaughter who's having a lot of issues, and she needs to go back into her hometown to ask for help and to try to help her goddaughter get what she needs. So she travels home, she reconnects with her old flame, she reconnects with her old friends, she has all these town folks, and she helps her goddaughter figure out what's going on with her shifting, and she helps the town figure out why there have been no fated matches in 13 years, and there's a lot of adventures going on, and it was really, really cute and really, really sweet. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was fun. I definitely would say it's a really cute, like, cozy fantasy. I enjoyed that there were so many different, like, supernatural beings in it. It wasn't just, like, witches and shifters. It's like there were so many side characters that were all different things, which I thought was really fun and really enjoyable. I do think that it is part of a series and that some of the characters may have been in other books. I think this is the first in this series. I think. But some of the characters, the way the author wrote them, it felt like I should know who they are. So I'm thinking that maybe I missed out on knowing some of them because I have not read any other books by April Asher yet. But considering I read this as a standalone, I thought it was really cute, and I could still get the gist of the story, and I can pick up on everything that was going on with like the other characters, which I thought was really great. As you can see on the cover, there is a dragon. So in some way, dragons play into this book, and I thought that was so fun and so interesting. I'm not going to tell you how because I don't want to give any spoilers, but that was a really fun twist, and I really enjoyed this book. The banter was really cute. It was decently spicy. It was a second chance romance, and yeah, it was really sweet. I thought it was fun. I will say the writing was a little bit more on like the simple side, and for the storyline, there was like 4 different main storylines going on all at the same time, and it kind of felt like a lot, and it kind of felt like it was jumbled, and it kind of made the book feel like it had to be rushed at the end because so many different things had to be tied up. So I feel like maybe all the storylines, while enjoyable, weren't necessarily needed. It kind of made the book a little bit like, for a short, fun, cozy fantasy, it felt like there's a lot in this book just because there were so many different storylines going on at once that didn't necessarily all have to be going on. Like, they were fun and I enjoyed it. It just seemed like it was just a lot for one little book. But I like this book and I thought it was really fun. I ended up rating it 3.75 out of 5 stars because I thought it was good and I thought it was a really enjoyable read. If you're looking for like a simple, cozy fantasy for fall, I highly recommend it. A Simple Twist of Fate, because really, I thought it was really fun. I really, really did. Okay. Following that, I was like, I need to switch it up a little bit. I need to switch up my genres, but I still want to keep it like fall vibes, autumn vibes. So I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Hallie Jackson, which I ended up really, really enjoying. I did. This has been on my TBR, like my actual TBR list, not just my shelf, but like I've been picking it for several months now, and I never got around to reading it. So I finally was like, it's time to get around to reading it. So I did, and I really liked it. I will say that it jumped right into the storyline, which I loved. It gripped and hooked me right away. Like, I was like, oh, I want to know what happens. I need to know what happens. And I was really excited to find things out. I thought that a lot of the different twists were really interesting. I thought the writing was really fun. I loved that since she was doing it for like her senior capstone project, there was different like journal entries, and then there was like the storyline, and there was different types of like media in the book that told you what was happening, which I thought was really enjoyable and a great way to like split it up and make it a really fast read. I do think this was a really fast read. I'd say maybe in the middle it did start to drag just a little bit, and they like kind of give you some information in the middle though that kind of keeps you going and keeps you wanting more. So I'll say maybe it started to drag a little bit, but it started to pick up pretty quickly after that, and it was worth it slogging through that middle bit a little bit. The ending, I'd say I kind of predicted it, but there was also some twists and turns that I did not predict, so I semi-predicted it. Some of it I saw coming, some of it I did not see coming, and some of it I partially saw coming, and then there was more twists to it that I was like, whoa, did not see that coming. So I honestly really enjoyed this. I thought it was really fun. It is a young adult like mystery thriller, so it is an easier read and a fast read. I will say that there is one incident in here that happens that is a trigger for me that I was not ready. I was not expecting. There was no trigger warning. It has to do with animals. Honestly, if I ever say it's a trigger, for me, it's almost guaranteed to have to do with animals. It has to do with animals, and it did not even feel necessary for this whole thing to happen, for the story. It felt more for shock value than for actual necessary plot. So that definitely turned me off a little bit from this book, which bumped it down a little bit on the rating. But I did really enjoy this book, and I do plan on picking up number 2 when like the stenciled edition comes out and reading that one, because like I said, it was really fun, it was really enjoyable, and I liked the characters, and I really enjoyed the writing. It was a quick read, really interesting, really gripping, and I really did want to keep picking up and know what happened. So I'd say that is a big win for me when I actually want to pick up the book when I'm thinking about it when I'm not reading it. That means I'm really into the book. So I ended up reading this one. I also rated this one 3.75 out of 5 stars. I knocked it down a little bit because of the trigger and because I did slog through it a little bit, but I thought it was really interesting and really fun, and I highly recommend this. If you're into mystery thrillers, especially young adult, give this one a go because it's definitely good and it's definitely worth it. And the final book I read in September, which is actually my favorite book in September, and that was Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. I like this book so much more than I thought I was going to. I picked this book up because it looked interesting and looked a little bit different. It's a dark academia book and it's young adult, so I picked it up because I thought it would be a fun fantasy dark academia book for fall, for September, but since it was young adult, I didn't think it would be too heavy. I thought it would be a little bit of an easier read, and I loved it. I thought it was so good. I thought it was so interesting. I liked it so much more than I thought I would. So I'm actually going to read you the synopsis of this one because I loved it so much and I don't want to like do it wrong. So, welcome to Blackwood Academy, the legendary school located on the fringes of the afterlife. Once a pupil enters the academy's arch gates, there is no way out, except for the decennial, a once-in-a-decade celebration in which a single worthy student is tested and given a choice: graduate and join Blackwood's magical elite, or cross over to the mysterious other side. This time, though, the rules have changed. The decennial isn't a celebration, it's a competition, and there can only be one victor. And then we follow 6 students, and hey! Cats are fighting. You leave him, okay? You stay down here with me. Okay. So, in this book, we follow 6 different students, and it's actually written in the 6 different viewpoints of the 6 different students. So we do get 6 different viewpoints throughout this book, which was such a fun and interesting way to get the story because you got to see what they were all thinking, what they were all feeling, what they were all experiencing. So a little synopsis about the 6 different students. We have 2 academic arch rivals whose strange connection blurs the lines between obsession and hate, one girl driven solely by ambition and another plagued by memories of the love she lost, and a charming playboy who never cared for anyone until he met the academy's newest student. Reading this now and knowing who these students actually are is so fun. Each of these 6 students has their own motivation to win and their own secret to hide, but what none of them know, they aren't the only ones playing Blackwood's game, and if they lose, some fates are worse than death. This book was so good. It had so many twists and turns, and all of the characters were so, like, they were so complex, but so enjoyable and lovable. And you could see why they all had their own issues and their own traumas, but they were going through so much. And so Blackwood Academy is literally purgatory, and they're stuck in this purgatory, like, boarding school, and it's so fun, it's so interesting. They're all in this competition to try to win the decennial, and there's so many twists and turns, and there's so many like betrayals, and so many different things that happen, and I really, really enjoyed it. I will say, I did see some of the stuff happening. Some of like the twists, some of it, I saw it coming, and I had a sense that some of the stuff was happening, like I could have predicted it, but that didn't really take away from it. Like when I read it and it happened, I was like, yeah, I saw that coming, but like, I wasn't dissatisfied that I predicted it. I was like, let's keep it going. Let's see what happens now. It was really, really enjoyable, and I really loved this book. Honestly, like I honestly haven't really stopped thinking about it since I read it, and I would recommend it to anybody if you're looking for a dark fantasy, a dark academia, a romantasy, a fun read for fall or October or September or any time of the year. Mortal Consequences by Ivy Marie. So good. It is kind of long. It is 495 pages, and there is a book 2 that will come out eventually. It is not announced when or anything like that, but it does end on a cliffhanger. So there will be a book 2 that comes out, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited. This book was so, so good. So good. Okay, wait, and I rated it. That's what I thought. 4.5 out of 5 stars, which basically for me is like a normal person's 5-star because I'm a harsh rater. So 4.5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I thought it was so, so, so good. And I'm probably gonna make everyone I know read it. So That includes you guys. Read this book. Let me know when you read it. Let me know your thoughts. But yeah, these are my September reads. I read 6 books in September. Most of them were pretty good. The lowest rating I got was a 3.25. The highest rating I got was a 4.5, which was so good. Oh my goodness. 4.5s for me they're outstanding books. So it was a good month of reading. I read a bunch of books, and I'm excited for October because I'm really kind of digging more into like the spooky vibes, the fall vibes, and really still flowing with it. So I'm so excited. Yeah, that is my September reading wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys read in September, if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts were, and how many books you want to read in October. Give me a number. How many books do you want to read in October? I need to know, okay? Thank you guys so much for being here and watching this vlog this week. I hope you guys have a fabulous week. Live well, read some books, go discover, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, my friends. What a good month.